Hello out there in podcast land. Welcome to this episode of Confessions with Nikki G. I'm your host, Nikki G, of course. Today we're going to talk about being brokenhearted and how do you deal with a broken heart. This episode is titled The Evolution of a Broken Heart. I'm excited today. I have a guest that has agreed to tell her story of betrayal, extramarital relationships, depression, self-evaluation, revelation, determination, into evolving into a new woman.
Yes, ma'am.
Her name is Brenda.
Hello.
Brenda J. in the house.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you, Brenda?
I'm good.
Glad that you could join us today, and I'm very happy that you're going to tell us your story.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm hoping your story will help someone out there that's listening. Hopefully, if you're in a bad relationship of domestic violence or any kind of abuse, hopefully this story will help you, because the woman you see here today has grown into her new self.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Brenda, you want to tell us something about yourself? I would start with the fact that we used to work together.
Yes, we were co-workers. Awesome co-workers.
Yeah, we used to work together, and we would chop it up sometimes. Chop it up is defined as talk.
Mm-hmm. Cordial.
We would talk sometimes, and the reason I started this podcast was to help people. So when you reached out to me, that's what I like, because I felt like at some point, some episode touched you and you said, you know what, I need to come on and tell my story. So that's why she's here today. So just tell us a little something about yourself.
Well, I'm a mother of 5. I have 4 grown children, 1 to 16. I'm a lot better than what I used to be. I've been through a lot of different situations, but this particular relationship right here, it showed me a lot and it taught me a lot. And I never really been through, I wouldn't think as domestic situations. And I know this one right here was like a different form of it because it wasn't physical. It was more of a mental and emotional type of abuse form that I had to actually go through, and I was ashamed of it. I tried to hide a lot of it, and I tried to make it seem like my life was good on the outside, but on the inside, it was, I didn't believe in myself. Like, I had to really, like, you know how you can be talking to somebody and you giving them advice, and you like, girl, I wouldn't go through that, I wouldn't do that. So I had to actually do that to myself, like, girl, what you accepting, what you going through, and why.
Okay, so let's back up a second. So let's start from the beginning. You met this person, right? Mm-hmm. So how did you meet?
We met online, on the internet.
Okay, online dating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then y'all met, and then, okay, let's transpire. How long was it from the time you met that you decided to, start a relationship with this person?
When I first met him, had been single for a while, so I was excited just to even have somebody just to be around. Mm-hmm. So when it first started off, I kind of like rushed us, wanted a relationship, and he wanted a friendship. So basically, we went through the first year as a friendship, and it took us a year to actually start a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now let's progress to the first incident of where you felt disrespected. And what did you do?
I felt, because like, even though we was in a friendship, but it was like I was doing things after I kind of like bagged off of when he was like, I don't want a relationship, we're just gonna be friends. So I try to put us in the friend category, but he didn't want a friend category. He wanted me to be in a relationship with him, but he wanted to be a friend to me. So like he was having me doing girlfriend things, and I was like, it was kind of like confusing. The whole situation to me is like confusing. So it was like he was putting me in situations that I felt, okay, you said you want me to be a friend, but you treat me like a girlfriend. So like the first disrespectful situation that we was in, maybe like 6 months down the line, we doing stuff and we enjoying ourselves and stuff like that. And the situation was like a family event came up. And no, actually it was his birthday. And so I had taken off work because he was like, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. So okay, I took off work, and then the day of, of the event, he was like, well, I'm going to go and I'll be back. And I'm like, well, I took off work. Why you don't want me to go? He was like, well, we friends and, I don't want this and that going on. So, I don't want to cause no problem. Like, we're going to cause no problems. If we supposed to be even friends, as a friend, I still should go. So, making a long story short, he ended up leaving me at home, and I basically took off work for nothing, stayed at home by myself while he went and chilled with everybody else. But come to find out, I found out that a certain person was there, and that's when all of it started. Because I was hearing my sister.
Okay, so let's back up. So you invited him to go to a family function, and he was feeling, from what I gather, uncomfortable going because...
So it was his birthday, and he invited me.
Oh, to his family function.
Yeah.
But he started to renege.
Yeah.
So he wasn't feeling comfortable about you coming along.
Yeah.
That's what I gathered.
Yeah.
That's a red flag right there.
Yeah, like he didn't want nobody to know that we was together, living together, had any kind of, but by this time, like, well, even if we're not in a relationship, we go everywhere, to my family functions. We'll go to my family things and my family gatherings and stuff like that together. And just like, so why can't we still just go as friends? We go as friends everywhere else. Why can't we go friends to whatever you have going on?
Okay, so right there, to me, that's a red flag because you can't be, per se, in a relationship with someone, and I'm speaking to my audience. You can't be in a relationship with someone and they're confusing you like that. Either I'm your friend or, we are in a romantic relationship or we in a, girlfriend and boyfriend type stuff. Mm-hmm. If I'm your friend, then let's stay in that category. That is, no sex, no living together. I'm your friend. You know what I'm saying? We can hang out, we can kick it. That, to me, that defines a friend. I just don't believe in the whole, we sleeping together. Yeah, to me, we doing things as husband and wife when it's beneficial to you. Sound like when it's beneficial to you, I'm your girlfriend. But when it's not beneficial, then no, you my friend. Yeah. No, you can't operate like that. That's why it's so important to set boundaries in relationships. When you don't set those boundaries, these are the type of things that occur. Okay, so you made it to the party, and then what?
No, I didn't go to the party. I ended up staying home. And so after, I didn't bother him. I didn't call his phone. I didn't do anything. I left it as that. Because I'm the type of person I like to observe. So I wanted to see how was he going to come back to me and how was he going to act. So when he came back, it was more like, I guess he expected me to be upset about not going or me to have a problem with not going. But I guess by me, basically like, so what we finna do now? Where we finna go? It was already done. He already went, so I felt no reason to have attitude about it. So that's when it came to the point of like, what you doing, like, what you have going on. You know what I'm saying? So that made him start paying me attention. Like I was doing other things outside of our relationship because I didn't make a big issue after it was about him bringing me along. Because I was like, you know what? Now I'm gonna start paying attention to him and what he's really wanting out of this friendship or relationship or whatever it's going to be. And this time we still was friends. But it was getting me confused at sometimes because he wanted me to do girlfriend things. And I'm like, okay, I have male friends. And I feel like male friends are not supposed to help you pay your bills. Not supposed to be living in your house. If you're my friend, I'm not supposed to know what you like to eat. I'm not supposed to know what size your underwear is, stuff like that. I'm not supposed to wash your clothes and stuff like that. So I started paying attention to certain little things that he was doing. And it was like, after then, it was like I was always hidden. I never went anywhere with him. If he wasn't fishing, we never did nothing together unless I went to my family functions. It was never like me and him. People get together and they go do things with their friends. He never let me have that side. But anything else, like outside of his life, it's like he was living two lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, didn't nobody know that me and him was together but me and him on his side. And everybody on my side knew that we was together.
And how did you function mentally like that? Like that is mentally draining because when you, I don't know, I'm just speaking out of, when you love someone and you're happy in a relationship or what you deem as a relationship, and you want to go out, you want to do things together, that's your bonding time. So in my mind, I'm thinking you want to bond with this person, you want to go out, you want to hang out, you want to do things, but no, we can't do nothing but go fishing. No, what are you talking about? How did you deal with that?
I dealt with that in a way because I'm the type of person.
That's mental.
It's mental, and I knew what he was actually trying to get me to. Because nowadays, men got this thing with women is that they want to control your mind. If they feel like they got your mind, they got you. They can make you do certain things. And that was one thing he was always telling me: "Let me get your mind. Let me have your mind." Stuff like that. And I'm like, it's more to you telling somebody that. So, because, men want women to be submissive. So I'm like this. I don't mind being submissive to a man, but you got to be a certain kind of man to make me submit to you. So I started paying attention to him, and I started realizing that he was trying to mentally make me, like, for him to control me. That's what it was. He was trying to see what could he do to see if I really wanted to be with him or really want to stay with him. And at one part of our relationship, he told me, basically, like, it's a situation came up about his mom and his daughter. And he was like, if you want me to love you or you want me to be with you the way you want me to be, to take you around and do this and do that with you, you have to get close to my mom, and I got to be okay to feel okay to have my daughter around you. Now, I have 2 daughters of my own, and I have a mama, and I love my mama. But it's certain things, like, 'cause me and my mama, we have an open relationship. And I'm like, if I'm not going to go out the way and do extra things for my mama, what makes me think I'm going to do it for your mama? And I'm not going to play that mind game to be controlled by you and your mama just to have a relationship with you. So I ended up building a relationship with his mom, but not the way that he wanted. Me and his mom, we was cordial. She was very respectful. She never disrespected me and nothing like that. But he didn't want it in that way. Because, like, usually, like, it was more of come around, buy Michael Kors purses and, stuff like that. And I wasn't really like, because I never bought my mama Michael Kors purse. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain things, like, I wouldn't allow myself to do. But he was trying to take me there, like, because I was with him. And he was like, basically, you with me, so I'm going to see what I can do to see how bad do you want to really be with me. And it wasn't that I wanted to be with him. It was like, because I never been through somebody who tried to mentally mess over on you, you know what I'm saying, like, on your mind. I know that people have controlling situations, and I know a female that was actually controlled by a dude, like he tell her to sit, she sit. So to me, it was more like I wanted to know, so I'd never do it again.
Okay, so let's back up to you saying you don't mind being submissive to, a man. First of all, we shouldn't be submissive to a man if he's not your husband. And then if he's your husband, that being submissive, you really have to research that term, because that doesn't per se mean that you have to do everything that they want you to do. That's not being submissive. And you don't have to do that for a boyfriend, and you don't have to do that for someone to love you. If someone wants you to be submissive in order for them to love you, then their idea of love is way out of whack. It sounds to me like you were dealing with a narcissistic person. That's what they do. They manipulate and they play these little games, or they try to mentally fuck you, excuse my French, and have you on a roller coaster. That was my last podcast. I talked about how I was on a roller coaster ride with a narcissistic person, and it got to the point where I felt like, I was losing my mind. And that's how they do. They play these mind games.
One time I thought I did.
Mind games with you to make you think a certain way when it's not. Now, this particular person, he was really playing a mind game with the whole, you got to get close to my mama. He was just, like you say, he was trying to see how far he could take it and how far you're willing to go. That's why it's important for you to learn who you are as a person, your boundaries, what you're willing to put up with. So therefore, when you run into people like that, you can cut them off with no problem. But when you haven't developed those yet, you find yourself in situations.
That was mine. I never,
just as Brenda was
I never went through nothing like our relationship. Like, I didn't talk to several people about it, and they was like, it sound confusing because I went through a lot of mental situations with him, and it was like, even at times when he knowing that, like, say for instance, I had a situation that I had an accident, right, and I called him. He didn't come. So I had to rely on somebody else to come. It's like the times I really needed him to be there for me, he wanted to see what I would do to get myself out of that situation, but then come back to me and let me feel like, try to tell me that he did this and he tried to do this and he tried to do that. And I just, I sat back and I'm like, I'm going to take it all in. But I ain't take it all in to make myself weak to him. I took everything in to make myself strong because I'm like, I can't let him, you know what I'm saying, do that to me. Because he was really trying to put me in like a mold that I needed him. And that was the thing, like he was always say like, you gonna need me for this and you gonna need me for that. And I'm like, I don't understand what I actually need you for when you're not doing nothing. You know, you was like, he was making me feel uncomfortable, you know, and a lot of it, you know, I ain't gonna say that it was all his fault. It was, some of it was my fault too, because I let certain things go on. But it was like a learning thing for me, and plus also I have 2 daughters, so I wanted them to see certain things and know certain things so they can know how to handle it. And me and my daughters, we have open, you know what I'm saying, open conversations. My oldest daughter, she has 2 kids, so you know I want her to see certain things. I want her to be aware of what not to do, you know, because like I use myself as an example for my daughters, even my sons, and I have very deep conversations with them, like because people can put you in situations, and it's this thing like we first got together. I kind of feel sorry for them. Because when I got with them, it was more like, you know, they coming with, I had this going on, I had that going on, and this and that. And so I'm like, well, okay, well, I'm okay on my end. Get yourself together. And then he would always tell me I never helped him do anything. I never helped him do this. I knew that he wanted to do this, and I knew he wanted to do that, but I never helped him do anything. And I'm like, you got so much sense of trying to make me do something, but you want me to do everything for you, and you have nothing at all to do. You want me to rack my brain 24/7 about how I'm going to do this for you, how I'm going to keep you happy, how I'm going to make sure that you're okay. You know, and it was at one time, like, when he was working, now I worked from 2 to 10, that's when I worked with y'all. In the mornings, I brought him breakfast. When I took him to work, brought him breakfast. By 12, bring them lunch. I got to go work for 2, right? So by 5, 6 o'clock, I'm got something going to his job. You know, I was because I was trying to see like what is your whole concept of wanting me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to see like what kind of a weak woman do you want? Like what kind of like who will want to mentally put somebody through this? You know?
Individuals, well, I'm just going by what I've learned through my journey. It sounds like he's a narcissistic person. So when you're dealing with someone like that, they're selfish. That's why if it didn't revolve around him, he won't no part of it. Mm-hmm. You had the wreck. He wasn't in the wreck, so why the hell should he give a shit? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how they think. Mm-hmm. Even though you breaking your neck for this person, and they don't care. They have no empathy for people. That part of their brain does not work. Mm-hmm. They do not care. So, you know, when we don't know, we get in our feelings like, I did all this for this person, and you mean to tell me he can't do one little thing for me? Mm-hmm. No, they're not, because they're selfish. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know this person. I'm not a licensed psychologist. I'm just going by the stories or what she's telling me, and that's what it sounds like to me, because I was in that same situation. Mm-hmm. No matter what I did for this person, it was never enough. Mm-hmm. I always wanted more.
He told me that too.
It's never enough.
He told me, he said, no matter what I do, it will never be enough.
Yeah.
So then that was start bringing on the sister, because every time it was a problem, it was my sister this, my sister that. Now I knew of his family because we actually was from the same town. You know what I'm saying? Just that we end up meeting down here. So I'm knowing he only had one biological sister by his mom. On his dad's side, can't speak on how many, but I know on his mom's side, it's only one. So it was always this sister this sister that, this sister that. So, you know, as time was going on, you know, I was kind of getting upset because it was like every time it was something that I needed him for, he was always helping the sister. He was at the library with the sister. He had to go take the sister to this place, and he never would tell me her name. So this one particular time, I was at work, and I had got to the point like, you know, I need to know who this sister is, because I'm going through all this stuff with you, all this mental stuff going back and forth with you, and it was just too much. So I need to know who the sister is, but I don't know who the sister is. Basically, I'm just going to just leave the whole situation alone, because if it's somebody who I can't meet because I haven't never met nobody yet, this must be another lifestyle that you have going on. So, okay, I'm at work, and he decides that he's going to bring her up there. When he pull up with her, he get out the car. He come up to me, and he's like, this is my sister. And I come to the car like, hey, how you doing? She's like, hey, Brenda, how you doing? I'm like, you know my name? And I kind of like got upset and kind of lost it. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I was going through so much stuff with him and his sister, and so many, like, he had to jump up whenever, and I knew when she was in town, because she wasn't in town. I knew she drove trucks, but every time she was in town, I knew when she was in town. So, me and him, he was upset because he brung her, and I didn't, like, oh, okay, hey, how you doing? I got upset, and I got upset mainly because she knew my name. Then she ain't only call me by my real name, she called me by my nickname. And that kind of even bothered me even more, because I'm like, y'all too close. I don't even know your name. Like, I can't even say your name back to you. So, me and him get into it, and he called his mom, and his mom, and I called his mom too, to let her know, like, I'm bringing stuff over there because him and his sister. And so his mom, she don't really know what's going on, and she think that I know who the girl is. So she tells me her name. So when she tell me her name, I go, and I be a little inspector. I go on Facebook, because I know one thing about social media, everybody's on there. So when she told me her first name, I went to her page and I pulled up her first name, and I seen the picture, and I knew it was her. So once I pulled her picture up, and I start putting two and two together, and over like the next 2 days, I'm going back and forth with him about her, mainly because she knew my name. So when I pulled her up the second day, not the first day, but the second day when I pulled up, because first day I just pulled up, I seen her name, and I just went to her, like, 2 or 3 pictures, but I was at work, so I couldn't do look no more. So the next day, when I went and I pulled her back up again, and I seen that she was hugged up with his brother.
Wait a minute. He was hugged up with the brother. Excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry.
Hugged up with the brother. So that made me investigate even more. So once I really start seeing that, okay, this is not a family like my sister, because at this time I knew that his brothers was actually living with another woman. So I kept on doing my little investigation. I kept on, looking and probing. And I found out that they had been separated for a few years. So when that happened, I contacted his mom. And I was like, that can't be his sister. I say, because didn't he just talk to the brother? Wasn't they together? Yeah, they was together. I say, and I was just out. I said, they gotta be fucking. I say, because ain't no way if somebody's brother, sister, and they separated, and all this person, she's with the family. She could be with the family,
okay,
but
so going forward, did you as women we get something like called an intuition. Something in you when you initially walked up to the car, you already knew that wasn't his sister. Yep. So, but instead of you calling the mom, or with no sense in confronting him and her, because they was gonna lie anyway. And I feel like she's out of line too for coming to your job knowing that, well, then again, I don't know what he told her. Who knows?
Honestly, like,
I'm saying that to say
they close. So
sometimes we ignore, my point is, sometimes we ignore red flags. That was a big, gigantic red flag. But we'll take to Facebook. We'll start to investigate. But deep down, we already know. So I'm saying that to say, when that intuition kick in, act on it in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? Like with me, I was just like you. I was investigating this one, investigating that one. And then one day I said, why am I investing so much time with this? Why am I giving this? I'm giving this too much headspace. It's taking up half my day worrying about, okay, well, this one he said was a friend. That one ain't a friend. And all the while, deep down, I know what it is. So I'm saying that, you just, sometimes you have to trust your gut.
Yeah, and when that happened, that second day, that's when I decided to start breaking my own heart. That's why I was telling you earlier. So I put it in my heart, in my mind, that, basically, before it gets to the point that I got to take myself and my life out of character, I'm going to take this situation right here, and I'm going to start working on myself. So I didn't start just dealing with the outside Brenda. I started dealing with the inside of Brenda. So I basically started, like, he was thinking I was doing one thing. He was thinking I was more worried about him and her. I started putting it into me. I started, like, getting my stuff together, like my driver's license. I went back to doing online classes to get my GED. Went and got my TWIC card. So over this time, every time I thought I was thinking about him and her, I got on the phone and I started doing something else to motivate myself.
And that's what you have to do when you're dealing with. We're just gonna say that he was a narcissistic. That's the first thing in healing. Take the focus off of him and put it back on yourself. And you start within. You know what I'm saying? And you did the right thing. You have to start within yourself. And a lot of us, we don't do that. We will still keep focusing on him, and that person's still going on with their life, and we stuck. It's when you get to that stuck part that you got to figure out which way to go. I like to say you stuck in neutral. You know, when you try to drive a car in neutral, it don't move. The motor running, but it doesn't move. And that's the way that's why I feel like we get to when we in a bad relationship, a toxic or abusive relationship, we get stuck in neutral. Then we don't know which direction to go. You know, eventually you'll figure it out. But what are you willing to go through until you figure it out?
And see, like with me and him, he was trying to put why I wasn't mad. You know, we'll have our little disagreements and stuff. And sometimes I get a little teary eyed, and he'll be like, "You sensitive? You doing this and you doing that or whatever." But he was thinking I was focusing on me and him, but I really wasn't. I was trying to put everything I could to put into myself. Then it got to a point that he started noticing that I wasn't as affectionate towards him. I didn't want to cling to him, and I didn't want him around me. So when I started acting like that, that's when he started wanting to do more things with me. Oh, he want to take trips. He want to do all kind of stuff with me. And I'm like,
love
to the point,
bombing.
yeah, like then he was trying to make me feel guilty about not doing certain things with him. And I'm like, you know, why?
Exactly. My point. Why? Y'all not together. I mean, you never really was together. He said you was your friend. But you know, that's how narcissistic men, that's how they are.
And then at the time I was noticing that every time I try to push him away, it was like, that's when I started noticing the mental part more of our situation, because the more I told him I didn't want him and I was pushing him away, the more he came to me. So I had a conversation with my mama one day, and she was like, "Well, Brenda, you think he loved you?" I said, "No, I don't think he loved me." And she was like, well, to me, it sounds like you in a type of situation that a lot of women get killed behind. She said, so you're going to have to wait until he don't want you no more. Nikki.
That's true.
When I say I really had to take myself there and kind of talk to him and talk to myself at the same time and divide my mind up, because I was noticing that's what it really was. As much as I started pushing away that I didn't want to be with him no more, he came on stronger. And it was that his words was getting different. His attitude, even though he never hit me, I think the most he probably ever did was took a cup of water and dashed it. You know what I'm saying? But he never like got to the point of breaking anything or anything like that. But so I started seeing him that he was having anger that was starting to build up, and he didn't know how to get it out. So I was like, you know what, Mama is telling the truth. So that's when I started reading certain stuff, going back, looking on certain stuff. Then that's when I realized, I remember I have an auntie that she was in a domestic violence situation, and her boyfriend used to beat on her all the time. Beat on her, give her black eyes, drag her down the street, cheat on her, do whatever you think a man can do to a woman physically, and that's what he did to her. So it had an incident that came up, and she stabbed him to death. He passed away. But one thing I remember, when she was going through the process she was going through, she said, when you meet one man, you'd have met them all. And when something going on in your life, say it. Don't be ashamed. So, make a long story short, she ended up doing 20 years in prison behind basically protecting herself from abusive situations. And I was like, you know what, that's not going to happen to me. You know, I'm going to get myself out of this situation some kind of way. But I literally had to wait. And it was like, it's today, is tomorrow. When he gonna leave? And a week before he actually left, I actually had took his stuff again, because I knew we wasn't together. He didn't even have like clothes like in my house. He had like items. So I get mad. I take all I can really take to his mama's house was fishing poles.
Damn.
Grab a fishing pole.
That's all right. Take these damn fishing poles and get your song.
And I take the fishing pole. He had a bike. I take the fishing pole. I take the bike. And about a handful of clothes and a little Walmart bag. Take it back to his mama's house.
Take your little Walmart bag and go.
Take it and go. So it got to the point like I was getting more like frustrated and so like the week before we separated, I took his stuff back to his mama's house, and he came back to the house again because I don't like to draw attention. You know what I'm saying? So he came back to my house again. I'm like, why is he steady coming back? Because he know he don't want me. So I was just up front. I said, you know what? When she gonna get her stuff together? You know, when she gonna get somewhere for y'all can be together? Because this ain't gonna work no more. You know what I'm saying? But I knew it was to the point that he still wasn't like kind of over me. But then I had said, cause I got kind of like very, very like detailed and very like, you know, I'm just sick of this shit. I just started letting a lot of things come out my mouth. Just started letting it come out my mouth. So a week later, I'm at home. He comes to the house because we wasn't living together. He just pop up over there, knock on the door, come in, lay down, go to sleep. And, you know, if he wanted somewhere to sleep, he come over to go to sleep. And he wanted somewhere to leave. And I never pushed the issue because every time I tried to push him away, he came back stronger. So this particular morning, he came to the house. I just got out of work. He knocked on the door, called my name. I was like, damn. What he want now? He been gone. What he want? So I opened the door, let him in. He come in. He's like, Brenda, I'm letting you know. Come let you know that basically I'm finna move on with my life. I'm finna go.
And how long was it from the time that you found out about the so-called sister?
A year. It was a year that I actually found out the truth of who she was. But it was throughout the whole 3-year relationship that I knew of her. So my last year in a relationship is when I knew her.
A year. I mean, from the time that you found out who he was to the time he knocked at the door and said, I'm moving on.
A year.
Gosh. So for a whole year, you had to put up with this man coming in and out your home, sleeping, you know, being overly aggressive. But you say he never got physical.
No, he never got physical.
Was he verbally abusive, or how do you feel like
he was to the like he will make me feel uncomfortable to the point of he'll be like I'm watching him in his sleep, or I'm trying to sabotage him, or I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do this. Like everything I try to do is like he tried to make it seem like I was trying to do something worse to him, you know, instead of him just realizing that he didn't want me. And I tell him all the time, like, you don't want me. Like, why are you here? And I think he was there because he felt like I didn't push the issue, because like I knew that if I had pushed the issue and I took it there, because a couple of times we had passed, because him and my son had got into it, you know what I'm saying, and he wanted to see like how far would I take it with my family. Like he mentioned a couple of times, like, yeah, you can call your brother to come down here and stuff. I'm like, man, my mama love my brother. I love my brother. You gonna call my brothers to come down here for me and you? You know, and like I told him, we never did anything together. Everything I built on my own. Every house I got, every car I got. Throughout the relationship, like I told him, I was like, well, you got to be kind of stupid, because if I had it the way you had it, ain't no way I'd have been living with somebody and I'm not accomplishing anything. You know, you ain't try to get yourself a car. You know, I think like one time he went like almost a whole year without working. You know what I'm saying? And it was like whatever he can get, he'll try to leech off me and get certain things, but he'll try to make it seem like he was doing things for me. I'm like, how you doing things for me when you're not even, this is my money, you know what I'm saying? And he was always trying to wonder like where I was getting money from, because I'd never tell him like what I had going on. Our relationship, it was so confusing. He was private in his own way, and I let him have his privacy, because I knew that me and him would never have nothing together. You know, so I never tried to force him to, after like the first 2 or 3 incidents, he thought that I was trying to force him to, I was really trying to force him to get tired of me and leave. But he wouldn't get tired of me, because he had he wasn't financially putting himself in a situation to leave. He was trying to depend on me, and I guess whatever she was doing on the outside.
If you listen to my previous episode, you know, when you're dealing with a narcissistic man and you want to lead a relationship, but they call it the discard phase. Mm-hmm. So when you come to that discard phase, you can never discard them, because remember, everything is a game to them. Mm-hmm. Everything is competition with them. So they have to discard you, just as your mother said. He was never going to leave as long as you wanted him to leave. Mm-hmm. That's why he knocked at the door. Oh, I got my new supply. I called the sister the new supply. Mm-hmm. So as he's with you, he's grooming the new supply to give the things that you were doing. Mm-hmm. So once he get this new supply together, then they leave. But doing that grooming process, or doing that love bombing, you know, and doing everything, you know, that's what they do. They're going to stay with you for now. Mm-hmm. And then when they get ready to discard you, they'll just, like your ex did, they'll just say, okay, well, I'm finna go now. And you're supposed to be just like, okay. But by that time, they drove you mentally crazy.
Yeah, because he was giving me hugs. He was like
Love bombing.
He was trying to make me. I guess he was trying to make me like don't leave and cry and all this other stuff like that, or whatever. But he don't like when he left. Girl, I went snatched that wig, but
Party time.
Yes,
Hey.
I went to Kima. I still had my little thing tied around. I had my little hair done, but I had the little thing tied around. I took my grandkids to Kima. You ain't taking nothing from me.
But see, you had already begun the process of mentally preparing yourself for it. You knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
So when you took the steps to say, okay, let me take the focus off him, put it on me, and you were already mentally prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's when they hit you off guard, like when you're not mentally prepared, where the problems come in at.
Mm-hmm.
So I advise anybody to mentally prepare yourself.
That's the part that
if you're dealing with a narcissistic person, that is going to transpire.
Mm-hmm. And you got to pay attention. And that's my thing. I pay ever since I was a little girl. I pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I pay attention to how people act, how people talk to you, what they do to you. And my thing is like, you can only do so much to me for me to actually start being like, okay, you don't care. That was my whole thing. Once I started needing him and he wasn't there, you don't care. So I'm not gonna keep on applying like I love you. I kept it up to just keep myself out of certain situations with him because I was, listening to my mom and I was listening to other people, and people, I had a support system. I wasn't going through it alone, but and everybody who I was talking to, all of them they stuck by me to the end. Mm-hmm. It was never he wanted the drama. He like, call this person, do this, do that. I'm like, I'm not calling nobody. But everybody know what I'm going through. It was even to the point that 2 times I actually left my apartment. Like, I went to South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? I went to South Carolina one time. I went to Colorado one time. Just for him to leave. And
they still don't leave. They don't leave.
Back.
They don't leave.
And I'm like, what you with me for? What do you want?
You say you don't want me. You don't want to be with me. Well, okay, so why are you here? Why you keep coming here? It's because in their mind, they want to feel like they've won. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming. Now, these individuals can be dangerous. Mm-hmm. They can be very dangerous. So be mindful of that. You can't just go charging at them saying, hey, get out of here, da-da-da-da, and think that they're going to leave. Mm-hmm. Some of them become violent. Mm-hmm. I experienced violence I experienced that before. So I'm saying that to say, have your exit plan in place. Mm-hmm. Surround yourself with your family and friends. Let people know what's going on in your life. If you're in that situation, there's someone out there that can help you. Mm-hmm. Or if you're that person that doesn't have any family or friends, please email me, Confessions with Nikki G. Let me know what's going on. Or go to my website, nikkig.org. Let someone know what's going on so you can get some help. Because I am so tired of looking at the news and seeing that this individual stalked this person and then, wind up killing, I'm speaking from a man and a woman standpoint. The woman wind up dead because the man don't know how to handle rejection, or they don't know how to handle the fact that this person don't want to be with them anymore. I mean, that it's real out there, and when you experience something like that, it's scary.
It is.
And you don't know which way to turn. You don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that you were able to safely remove yourself out of that situation. And I'm saying everybody can't do what Brenda and I, have done in the past. We rode the wave. Mm-hmm. We rode the storm. What they call it, the eye of the storm. Mm-hmm. We stayed in there.
Yeah.
But everybody not that strong, And I'm going to tell you right now, that's hard. It's several times I remember walking in my house. I just wanted to beat him up. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here. I want to pick him up and just throw him out, but I knew I couldn't do it in peace. Mm-hmm. I said, Lord, help me. Deliver me from this evil.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's very hard.
But my main thing is, if you start seeing somebody not caring, I can understand that you're in a relationship with somebody and they get mad and y'all have disagreement and they might say something to you to hurt your feelings. But it comes to the point that when you're not caring in certain situations that's coming on, that's like if you're hurt or you're sick. And you pay attention to how people treat you when you down and when you don't have anything. That's how you know. No matter narcissist not, if they love you, they gonna make sure that you ain't gonna go through it. They gonna make sure that you ain't gonna cry. They gonna make sure you ain't gonna stress. You gonna go through something with them, but you ain't gonna get to the point that you gonna feel alone going through whatever you're going through. And that was my thing. I was alone going through whatever I was going through with him, but at the same time, I was building myself up on the other side. You know, I wasn't taking what he was saying and latching on to it. Like, I wouldn't accept it, and I couldn't accept it, you know, because like I said, I had my daughters looking at me, and then it came to the point my oldest daughter asked me, she was like, "Mama, when you was gonna leave?" I was like, that's my to tell her. I had to break it down, try to pull her car inside the road, and let her know, Brenda, this is what I was going through. This is what I had to face. This is how I was really living with him, you know, mentally, you know, and I had to let him leave me, because if I would have just let him, and I still feel to this day, like right now, I still feel that he has his eye on me in his own, you know, certain kind of way he checks up on me, you know, but I cut all ties to him. I don't check on him. I don't call social media. I block. I can care less. Like, I don't, I have nothing, you know, even if he was to call me, I don't, it's nothing. I don't want to put myself, if I was answering the phone and I got her. Oh no. I don't care who you can you can become a millionaire right now. Y'all can have, because they want more kids. You can have more kids, but I don't even care to know. And if I did find out, I don't care, because I feel like I know who he really is. Like, you know, I know that she know him too. And whoever else that he with knows him too. But I feel like basically y'all don't know him. Because for you to actually be with somebody that's like that, and she known him longer than I known him, and either you are narcissistic too, or you liked it.
No, I feel like from my perspective, it's like this. They haven't seen his true self yet. Right now, he's in the love bombing phase. Love bombing, like you said, hugs, kisses, whatever that person wants, da 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 da. I mean, they do whatever to get next to you. However, for me, I found peace in the fact that those individuals never settle down with anybody. They never love anybody. They're not capable. You know, to love somebody, you got to have some kind of empathy in your heart, right?
Yeah.
These people don't have empathy.
He said, I live in La La Land.
Yeah, so they always say, think with your head, not with your heart, because that's how that is how they operate. So I'm saying that to say he could be with 1,000 women, but don't do like what I did was, I'm like, well, why doesn't he want to be with me? Why doesn't he love? That person doesn't know how to love. So when he goes on to the next woman, that woman is an object. Everything with these individuals, you're just objects to get to what they want. And once you no longer serve a purpose, what you do with something like this tablet, and once I'm through writing on every page, guess what? I'm going to throw it away. It's no good. I don't need it no more. And that's how they operate their lives. Can you imagine living your life like that? I don't see how they function day to day. That to me would be tiring. Going from relationship to relationship to relationship, this one. I mean, it's too much. I can recall one time when my ex and I separated, right? Before we got married or whatever. So he had his place, I had mine. Whatever. I was over there at his house. And this lady came up. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. She's knocking at the door. So I'm looking at him like, hey, somebody at your door? Oh, no, because he had a room. Oh, no, that's for whoever. I said, oh, okay. So I said, well, you know I'm about to get up and leave. So I'm giving you a hint. I'm finna open this door. I said, because I had to go to work. So I opened the door. This lady looked at me. She said, oh, you're the girlfriend? And he's standing in the door looking like a deer in headlights, you know, just... She said, oh, you the girlfriend? I said, baby, your problem is with him, not with me. But my thing is, why is she going around telling women you have a girlfriend, you got this, you got that at the time? But these women is still buying and doing for you. Like, I don't get it. If I meet somebody and they tell me they with somebody, I'm not going to do all of that.
And see, like, I seen my mama go through abuse, physical abuse.
Yeah.
You know, and it's nothing I can't talk to this woman about. And my thing of it is, like, when it comes down to a man and trying to, my dad taught me about secrecy, because my dad hid me. So my thing about it is that you can't make me feel like it's okay. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, he'll tell me, well, you ought to be glad because you ain't got no other woman, you ain't seeing nobody, and this and that. It's not about seeing nobody. You know, it's how you treating me.
Exactly.
I don't have to see nobody
you
to
make
know
you
how
feel.
you treating me. And I guess he was feeling like he really couldn't get to me the way that he wanted to get to me. And I'm not gonna say I didn't care because I did care, but I had to show him I didn't care. But on the inside, I did care. But at the same time, I had to be like, you know what? I can't let him do that to me because I'm gonna be stuck. I'm gonna be stuck. I'm gonna be the one hurt. I'm gonna be the one crying. I'm gonna be the one this and I'm gonna be the one that. But I was looking at him and I was like, you're doing all this to me and you're not accomplishing any the whole time we was together. Didn't accomplish anything. Now when I met him, that's when I met him it was like right after Harvey had hit. So it's like, you know, I was going through what I was going through, but I had took a big loss. You know, but at the big loss that I took, I didn't gain that back and more. You know, I done had with vehicles, I done moved. Everything I lost during that time, like I lost my drive. During that time I took a lot of loss, financial loss and everything. And I'm like, all this that you're doing, even when he wasn't working, I was like, how can you just not do anything for yourself? And you expect me to feel like that you love and you care about me when you don't. I can't see anything that you're doing for yourself. I never. Then he tried to blame me for that. He was like, it was times we had money, and you know I needed this, and you know I needed that, and you ain't trying to help me get it done. If you ain't applied to yourself, I can't apply it for you, cause you know. And then the when we did separate, he was like basically like you know, why you ain't tripping? Why I say I ain't build nothing with you. I ain't buy no house with you. I ain't buy a car with you. I ain't buy a living room set. I ain't buy a dime. I ain't buy nothing with you. I didn't build anything with you. I said I built more with my kids' daddy just by having a child for them than I done built with you. And I didn't accomplish anything. I just somebody who I just having sex with, basically. And that's how I felt like, 'cause it was just a whole mental situation.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to put up with those things, but we do as women. Let's just, you know, be honest about it. We put up with a lot of things when you don't know. It's when you know and you continue to put up with it. Now that's the problem.
It's a lot of them that do that just to keep a man. They will go through years. I'm not going to say that I'll give up, but if it's worth me keeping, or if I'm knowing that you are bettering yourself and you're better in our situation, you just got a little flaws, I can work with that. But to continuously, day by day, the next year, same time, this next year, we doing the same thing, living the same way. You got the same, it's nothing else. And I'm like,
and that's why I wanted to call this evolution, because when you elevate evolution, things grow, people change. You know, nothing is going to stay the same. You know, that's why I feel like when people been in a relationship for years and years and years, and you be like, they've been together 20 years, why did they divorce or why did they break up? Because they evolved. You know, you no longer had the same things in common anymore. You no longer had the same goals, or, you know, things change. So when I see a couple that's been married for years and years and years and they're still together, I admire that, because I know that had to be hard to do. Because like you said, we all got flaws. Yeah. We all got things going on. But now we've heard how you healed yourself. You know, you surround yourself with your family. You started to take care of your business. You started spending time with your grandkids doing different things. So saying that to say, the evolution of a broken heart. Now, all the things I read to you in the introduction was betrayal, you know, infidelity, depression, self-evaluation. You know, revelation is when you figuring the things out. You done figured it out. You got a revelation. These are the steps I feel like we go through when we going through a broken heart. You know what I'm saying? Determination. You become determined to be better than you was the day before. A better person, a better woman, a stronger woman. You know what I'm saying? When you fall down, you don't stay down. You look up and you get up. And that's where that determination come in. You want to be a better person, and then that's when the evolution kicks in. Now, when you talk about evolution, you got 3 types of evolution. First, let me define evolution. It's defined as the gradual development of something, especially from a simple to a more complex form. Now, how do you relate that to a broken heart? Once your heart is broken and you're feeling down and your self-worth is so low, and you feel like, I don't understand why nobody want to be with me. You get to that point like, why can't I stay in these relationships? What is going on? Is it me? You begin to develop your authentic self. Because a lot of us, we go in these relationships being, what they want us to be and not being our authentic self.
A big lie.
So doing this stage of, like I call evolution, that's where you turn it into the new you. You know what I'm saying? Brick by brick, piece by piece. You're turning into a more, I wouldn't say complex form, but you're turning into a person that knows what she wants and what she doesn't want. And, you're not afraid to verbalize that going forward. But that takes time to grow and build. Now, the first step I like to call is a divergent. Now, if you study evolution, these are 3 forms of evolution. But I just kind of tied it into relationships and the broken heart. So during the divergent stage, divergent is defined as tending to be different or develop in different directions. Of course, you're going to be different. You done self-evaluated. You determined to change who you are as a person. You beginning to find yourself. So once you find yourself, are you going to move back in the same direction you was moving before? What you going to do? You're going to move in another way. You're going to move towards, I like to say, I told people, look, I'm walking towards the direction of peace. So either you're going to take my hand and walk in that same direction, or baby, you need to go back. Because you can't come with me.
During all that, I found out stuff about myself that I didn't even know. Like, I found out I know how to paint.
Yeah.
I had started painting. I started painting pictures. I'll have like friends of mine painting pictures. And I actually sold like 4 of my pictures that I had painted. Even I was at I had wrote the Fairy to Bolivar, and I was painting like this little African lady or whatever. And the lady, she was like, "You pay me 3 of them, I'll pay you for." She said, "How much you charge?" I said, "Whatever you give me." She gave me $100 for 3 pictures. See? So I found out things about myself going through that process that I didn't even know that I could even do.
And see, you probably never revealed that to anybody. Hey, when you meet somebody, you be like, "What do you like? What do you like?" You probably never said, "Oh, I like to draw. I like art."
Yeah,
because it was always buried in the back of your brain. But see, you have to discover that about yourself. What it is that you like.
And then when he came around, he was like, "Who got you painting?" He did try to make me feel bad about it. Talking about some, if another dude come around here, they gonna run over you because they gonna think, "Oh, I got this woman. All she do is sit around here and paint. She don't do nothing. I can run over her. I can do." I'm like, man, no, they not.
Better I paint on this picture than paint on your ass.
But they'll like it. I had this one guy I was talking to. And he was like, "Well, if you paint, I want to come paint with you."
Those are the type of people, that you want to be around. Somebody that's going to support you in your likes, just as you support them in their likes. You know what I'm saying?
And then, also, too, he had painted the picture, and he ain't know he can paint. He did a painting, too. But after he did that one painting, I guess, like, he was I was trying to control him after he did the painting. But I found out a lot of things about myself that I didn't even know I can do. Like, I do poetry now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's things about myself. Like, I started knowing how to do the piano, and I got the microphone. I'm learning how to do like the little keyboard and all the doing the little music thing or whatever. Just I found out a lot of things about myself, and I say I thank him because I didn't know certain things I can actually do.
Yeah, see that when you're in the divergent state, that's what you do. You're moving in a different direction. You're no longer stuck in neutral. You're no longer going back in the past trying to make stuff work. You're moving on to a whole nother era in your life, a different direction. Now, during this phase, you will also learn your boundaries. Because you know what? You done discovered you. You know what you like. You know what you don't like. You know what you're willing to put up with and what you're not willing to put up with. And those where you create those boundaries. Because for a lot of us, we never really thought about boundaries. We get in a relationship and we want to make that person happy. That's our primary focus because I hate to say it, that's what we were taught when we were young. At least I was. You want to make your mate happy.
Yeah, a lot of people,
so you do whatever it takes to make that mate happy. That's dysfunction because they should be showing you the same respect, the same what I'm trying to say, the same effort. That's what I'm trying to say. They should be showing you the same effort. So this individual that you didn't have to force, you didn't have to do anything with, he was showing you effort. Like, oh, okay, yeah, you want to paint? I'm going to paint too. They're showing you that effort. It should come ease. It shouldn't be forced. If you got to force somebody to do something, you're wasting your time.
And then my mind really wasn't even on the situation. Like, he'll come around and I start singing. Like, I start singing to myself. I'm like, I'm not gonna let him take me there. You know, I need my mind. I need to continue to grow. I'm still young. You know, I still got a lot of learning to do, and I still got, you know, a lot of things I want to see. And I didn't want that to affect me, because a lot of women can take it and really let it affect their actual life. They become bitter. They become loud. They become they don't want to. You don't want to be around them. You know, and then they'll never actually really find their happiness, because they so damaged, because they gonna think everybody around them they're gonna hurt them.
Well, see, that is true, but, you know, everybody heals in the process. Eventually, those individuals, I'll say most of them will get to a point of healing. Some of them do, some of them don't. But that's their healing process. You know, they're bitter, they're angry. You know, and a lot of it ain't just per se just because of the relationship. It's probably things that they have experienced, probably in their childhood, their past. They haven't dealt with it, and it's just compiling. So until they deal with all of their situations, they're going to be angry, they're going to be mad. But once you I digress, go back to the divergent stage. Once you find that peace within, your attitude's going to change. Your circle of friends going to change. And then people are going to know how to treat you. Because remember, you done set those boundaries with people. And I'm not just talking about in romantic relationships. I'm talking about friendships. I'm talking about at your workplace, wherever. Because when you don't have boundaries, baby, you are all over the place. You know, and when you're a people pleaser.
Yeah. And I even curse less. It's a lot of things about that situation that actually have guys like, I'm not finna get used to this. That's another thing people do too. They get used to the situation that they in. Me, sometimes, like, I was feeling like, okay, we did the same thing yesterday. I get up and I'm finna take out walking somewhere. I'm finna go to the park. I'm finna go exercise. I'm finna go do something, because I can't let myself get stuck in that for no reason at all. Like, I was like, I'm gonna end up hurting myself, not physically, but like hurting myself really, because I'm gonna be the one to end up being depressed, feeling alone, feeling like don't nobody love me. And when I say I'm thankful, I had this one friend girl. I went to her house, and I swear I cried at that girl's house from the time I got to her house all that night. Woke up the next day, she's like, Brenda, ever since you got here, you've been crying. And I was
need
like,
that sometime.
Yeah, and I was like, girl, just let me cry. And I cried some more. But before I left Louisiana, I ain't cried no more. I ain't crying. I ain't feel depressed. I got it. When I say I got it out, I got it out. I was just waiting for that time when he did that. Oh my God, like that just I can live.
Yeah.
I can breathe.
See?
I can go on. I can give my kids. I can just, you know, I can have structure. And that's the thing he's always telling me. You ain't got structure. I said, I ain't got structure in your eyes, but I got structure in my own eyes. I'm very obedient to myself. You know, I'm doing better things, you just ain't seeing it. And I wasn't trying to bring anything to his attention, be like, oh, I'm doing this. That's another thing people do too when they in relationships, try to show them what they doing. I tried not to bring anything. I didn't want him to know what I was doing.
Well, if you're still in that stage, then you're not ready to heal. You're not ready to move forward, because you're still focusing on that person. So I'm speaking on the lines of when people are moving on, you're moving forward, you're healing from your broken heart. So like I said, the first stage is the divergent stage. You're moving in a different direction. The next stage I like to call the convergent stage. And that is defined as approaching a definite limit as more of its terms are added. That goes back to the boundaries. The more you learn about yourself, the more you can teach people how to treat you with those boundaries, you know. And once you learn your authentic self, you're going to come in contact, or you're going to become closer with individuals with the same characteristics as you. Not like before when you meet up with these totally opposite people. You know, I felt like with me, I wasn't being my authentic self, so therefore I wasn't meeting people that I could get along with. Because once that mask fall off, and, you know, I'm not that per se Nikki, as I like to say, or like I tell people, I used to drink a lot. You know, I was a drunk Nikki, and everybody wanted to be around me. Well, that was the person that those people fell in love with. They never knew the authentic Nikki, you know, who likes to sit home and do nothing every day, but go to work and make money. That's me.
That's me.
You know, they didn't know that Nikki, you know. So when I became that Nikki, it was hard for them to say, you know, hey, what's going on? It was, what's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with me. I'm just being my authentic self. So I'm saying that to say, once you learn yourself and you get to the convergent stage, you know, you're going to come in to energy that's just like yours. You know, and you're going to feel better about yourself. It's going to show. When you heal from the inside out, baby, you have a glow.
That's what everybody been telling me. Every time.
You have a glow. And I'm going to
Every-
tell you, it was a picture you took on Facebook. And your hair was long, and it was like, I like to call it the Farrah Fawcett. I know I'm telling my age, but anyway. You know, a little flip or whatever with the curl, and I saw that glow. I said, oh, yeah. She done made it to the other side now. I don't know. I hadn't spoke to you in years, but I could look at your face and tell whatever it was you was going through is gone.
Everybody been telling me that lately.
You can see it in that picture. I don't know about the other ones, but I saw it for myself.
Thank you.
Yes, looking good.
Thank you.
Yes. So you feel better once you stop aligning yourself with people that you're not, y'all energies don't match at all. And deep down as women, we know that. But we just go along with it. No.
And that was my thing. I was going along with it. And one time, I would say for like 2 months, I was trying to do things to, like, impress him or try to make him see. But then I got tired of doing it because it was getting too much for me. I can't keep, doing this every day. Like, it's just to get tired, So I just, I got to be myself. And he always told me my mouth. He said that was the worst part of me. It was my mouth. And I do have a mouth. Like, I am a very blunt person. I will tell a person how I feel, but I'm considerate about people's feelings too. But I'm like, this relationship right here has taught me so much. When I say so much, I'm 40. And I was married. And I didn't even go through this with my husband. Like, even when me and him separated, it was never, like, I never met somebody who want to play with your mind and make you feel a certain kind of way. I never dealt with nothing like that because everybody I always dealt with, I can always just be myself. I didn't have to go through the whys and, like you say, like, why am I good? And I was like, I'm not asking myself that no more. I know I'm good. I ain't never had no problems before.
And one of the rappers that I like to listen to, Zero, he always say, you can take everything else, but you can't have my mind.
Yeah.
You can never tell an individual, I'll let you have my mind. No, don't never give away your mind. Because that's all you got at the end.
That's all.
They can take everything from you, but don't let nobody ever take your mind. Because once they take your mind, as I like to say, you out of there. You all over the place.
That's even in a nursing home. You can take my feet and my legs. I can let
can't
it
have
all
my
day.
mind.
Let me leave with that. Let me know what's going on around me.
Yes.
Yep.
And I would say also, your spiritual side helps you too. I don't know, everybody got different religions, but for me and my God that I pray to, whatever I was experiencing, trust me, it was somewhere in the Bible that I would read a scripture or something that would help me move forward, help to continue to move forward.
And I even told God, bless him, whatever's meant for him, let him have it. If he meant to have 10 cars and live on an island, whatever his blessing, whatever his calling, let him have it. Because I don't want to move on in that way either. Some people, they be bitter and like, I did say something to my daughter. I made a statement, was like, because, when we separated, he ended up getting a truck. And he only got the truck because he got a stimulus check to care of my baby. So I was like, it took all this for you to get that. I say, but then at the same time, you got something that you can't afford. Now I thought about it. I said, you know what? He deserved that truck. Even though I know he can't afford it, God, he deserved it. Give him that and make sure you can keep it. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody should, when you move on, you shouldn't move on with anything in your heart. And I was like, I'm going to pray about that by myself because I was wrong. I'm not going to become him. I'm not going to become who he was and feel a certain kind of way. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad that part of my life is over.
I feel like we're human. And it's okay to experience those feelings. It's what you do with those feelings that really count. It's okay if you felt some type of way because, he got a truck or he got this and he got that. I experienced that. But I had to tell myself, why do I care?
Yeah, like.
He can use that motherfucker to get away from me.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
I'm gonna go get me a truck. You know what I'm saying? Like,
like you said, you built what you built on your own anyway. So what difference do it make? Out of all the things you built, that person got one truck.
One truck.
Why do you care? You should. I had to think to myself, shit. Like I said, he could use that truck to get away from me. Thank you.
Yeah, it's thanks.
Can you hurry it up? Bag this bitch in and put your shit in and go.
And go.
Take your 2 fishing poles and your Walmart bag and go.
And your bike. And go. Yep. That's exactly. I had to take that. Like,
But that's needless to say. Now this can happen for for women, some of us women, like she said, we bitter, we angry, we out there in the world, just as men, they can be bitter and angry, but you have to realize everybody goes through something. So I don't know if these individuals are going through a healing stage or what they're going through, but if you see someone like that, why entangle yourself? And don't, for one thing, that you can help these people, they got to want to help themselves. So if they don't come to you in a way of, hey, you know what, I'm tired of being angry, I want to, where you can kind of tell that they're looking for help, is nothing you can do. And I wouldn't advise you to listen too much to that, because then that deters your mind. When somebody calling you or talking to you every day about negative things, that negative energy begins to ride your back. I wrote a piece about, like when I would go train, sometime my trainer, she would have us, she would have a car tire around like this rubber band. So one morning and you had to run with the tire from one pole to the next. So as I'm running, you got this weight behind you. And I felt like that was my life. I had all this fucking dead weight behind me that I'm running, carrying. When am I going to let this weight go? Because it's holding me back. It's holding me down. Just like I couldn't run with that tire because my ass was fat. I was holding all that dead weight, carrying it with me. So it was in that instant, which may sound crazy to some people, it's that instant that I decided to let go. We never know when we're going to get that revelation, as I call it, in the stages of a heartbreak. We never know where you're going to get it.
But also a person got to want it too.
Yeah.
They got to take themselves out of that. They got to take themselves away from that and then try to do something different, because
it's in stages.
It is, but at the same time, like how long, I know everything takes time, but we in the world now that you ain't got time. You ain't got time to be bitter and be angry. You gotta forgive, and God, I don't, like you say, whoever, how you pray to God, but he is real. And I know that from my own spirit, he is real, because no matter what I went through with that man, God ain't take nothing away from me.
Yeah. You actually become better, because you're not so, I felt like you become more financially stable and everything, because you're not so nerved up about how they feel, what they need, what they want. Baby, please, when I got out of that, I was stacking my money. And I didn't have to worry about nobody but me.
Like he told me, all I used to do was try to make sure that he had, and I did. When we was together, because if he didn't have certain things, it was an argument. It wasn't a nice day for us. So it was certain things I did try to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Just so I can have a peace. He thought I did it to impress him. It was like, no, because I can't deal with you. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want to take myself to that point with him. Even though we didn't have a physical relationship, I felt in a way he wanted it, because he never got it. Like, I never let him see me get mad. The most he'll see me get mad is tears coming out of my mouth. But so far as like screaming and calling this person, you bitch, I never gave him that. I couldn't.
And see, that's, as if he's a narcissistic, which I think he is, that tore him up on the inside, because they like chaos, they like arguing, they like to get that rise out of you, because then they know, okay, I still got you a little bit, I can kind of try to manipulate you, because you still got feelings.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They don't have any feelings, but they know when you have feelings, and they know how to, I like to call them master manipulators. But once you become educated and you learn these games and trickery that they do,
it's hard and it's scary.
You will be much more wiser. Like I said, as you grow and evolve, you become much wiser. So when you meet somebody and they start out with the foolery, you're going to know out the bat, something ain't right. And at that point, you move on. Don't stay there, for convenience. Don't stay there for the peace. And I was just like Brenda, in the sense that I did things thinking that it would make more peace in my home, when in reality, it just made it worse.
Yeah. Because
now, like I said, that individual think they got you. Now, she still got feelings for me. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing that. Because they still going to do them. While you sitting there crying and going crazy.
Yeah.
So, in the evolution of a broken heart, you have the first stage, which is divergent. The second stage is convergent. And the last stage is called parallel. Now, parallel is defined to be side by side, having the same distance continuously between them, like two lines. So I like to think of it as two individuals. You guys are side by side, and y'all have the same distance. That is, y'all have the same characteristics to a degree. Y'all have the energies. Y'all energies are matching. Y'all align. Y'all together. You know, it ain't like one energy overpowering the other. No, y'all align. You're parallel. You together. You side by side. Not one is better than the other. Not one is bigger than the other. You side by side. That's when you know you in a functioning, healthy relationship. Because it's not, to me, I don't feel like, when I hear people say, oh, I'm going to give 50-50 or we're going to give 50-50, hell no. Give me 110% and I'm going to give you 110% and you're going to give me 110%. That's how we're going to rock that, because that's the only way the relationship going to work. No more of this 50-50. You know, if you meet an individual that come into your life and say, hey, I want to, you know, move in with you. I want to do this. I want to pay your bills. I want to do that. Okay, well, you got to come on with it then.
Yeah.
No more saying that.
And actually,
the
craziest thing ever is basically, I always had that person in my life. You know, on the outside, I always had that person in my life. You know, and he's around right now, and he's actually my daughter's dad. But he the one got me through a lot of this. You know, he'll be talking to me and trying to tell me. You know, he'll try to tell me like things about men. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's not like that, he'll try to give me advice and stuff like that or whatever about men. But I'm just glad I got myself out of it. I know the signs, and I would not do it again. It's certain things that some people like. I'm not doing it. The first sign, I'm not finna to deal with it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, during this parallel stage, that's when you'll meet your, I like to call your new boo, your mate. Y'all both align, y'all both together. You know, you should be in a state of happiness. And let me tell you something. Once you experience that happiness, oh baby, you that's all you're gonna want. You ain't trying to go back. Once you experience that happiness, you're not trying to go back. But see, my happiness came in bits and pieces. You know, in my first marriage, I had to deal with somebody that was on addiction, had an addiction. So when I got with the next person, it felt good to be with somebody that I didn't have to worry about stealing money out of my purse, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I latched to that. But evolution, remember, I kept growing. So then I wanted the trust factor. So that second husband, he was trustworthy in the beginning, but then he fell out. But you know what? I felt like I jumped out of the pot into the fire, because this third husband of mine,
Gave you a run for your money, huh?
a run, a jump off a bridge, off the cliff. You know? So saying that to say, you know, we all go through something. We all learn something. We evolve. Once you evolve and you get with that right person, hey, your whole life is going to change.
And see, a lot of women need to do this. I be like, I'm in all kind of like little groups on Facebook with they saying like, you know, women power, women this. I'll see somebody post something 1 or 2 times and that's it. I'm like, it's people out there who really need this, because it's embarrassing, you know, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it, or they don't know who to talk to. You know, sometimes you can tell somebody something and they tell this person, they tell that person, you know. So it's and I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for my mama, my children, and the friends I do have. I can just go to them and I can say whatever's on my mind and whatever how I feel, and they got my back. And if I'm wrong, they tell me I'm wrong. And in this type of relationship, or any type of domestic, you know, relationship, you know, people do need support. They do need support, people to open up to, and they need to see that somebody else going through something similar to what they're going through too. You know, even if it ain't the brother ex, it's another woman. You know, and it is hurtful. You know, because you be like, what? I ain't never asked myself what did she do. I was just like, when is she gonna take him? You know what I'm saying? Because by that time, I already knew who he was. Like, mentally, I already knew who he was. I was just waiting on him to just leave. You know, I just always tell myself, why don't you just leave? Just leave, just go. You know, you ain't got to come back. Just leave, you know.
You know, it's very important that you take your power back, because you will find yourself giving them all the power. They make the decision whether they want to be with you. They're making the decision if they want to stay there. They're making all the damn decisions while you sitting there, you know, don't know which way to go, waiting on them. No, you take your power back. You make the decision if you want to be with them. You make the decision what you need to do to make yourself happy first. Because unless you're happy with yourself, you will not be happy with anything or anybody else.
And another thing too, put something aside. if I ain't do nothing else right. When I went through, every time I thought I was, I'm going to take this dollar over here. Because I never knew how I had to leave. And that's another thing. People get so caught up in staying with somebody, and that person know everything you do, all the money you have in your pocket, how you move, where you going. He ain't know where I was going. One day we got into it, I jumped up and I drove to South Carolina. And he was like, where you at? South Carolina. You ain't gonna play it? He go, picture him, South Carolina. Because you'll never know what I'll do next, because I'll never let you have that of me.
Yeah, take your power back. You make the decision, like I said, what makes you happy. But I guarantee you, once you do these phases that I just spoke of, and you get to especially the self-evaluation phase, but it will be nothing for you to do whatever it takes for you to be happy. Because once you get a taste of that happiness, of that peace, I guarantee you, nobody gonna take that from you. I don't care who it is.
You be eating different, walking different, talking different.
Baby, I had got to the point where I was going to the restaurants by myself. I didn't want to. I was so unbothered. But once I got there, I met, nice people. But when I was with that person, it was always, I got to be the center of attention. I got to do this. But I just started going out, meeting different people, doing different things with myself.
I didn't know I liked the sushi.
Oh.
I love sushi now. Or I be going to the Hong Kong mall. I go over there, I try new different teas. I do all kinds of different things.
Girl, call me next time.
Girl, okay, I love it.
Let me digress back. So, with this podcast, I hope that you learned about abuse, and that abuse is just not in the physical sense. It can be emotional. It could be mental. Now, going forward, I hope that the steps that Brenda took to move forward, maybe that'll help you move forward. Or I hope that my evolution of a broken heart can help you as well. Because it's a needed thing as an individual that has a broken heart, whether you male or female. These steps can be used. Like I said, finding yourself, moving forward, aligning yourself with people like your authentic self. And I keep using the word authentic because you can't be fake going around thinking you're going to meet somebody just for you. And you do those things, I guarantee you, like I said, once you get to that peaceful stage in your life, nobody going to be able to take that from you. So, baby, you're going to have a glow, honey, so bright.
You ain't want to get rid of it.
You're going to outshine the sun. That glow going to be bright.
And it's so much stuff that I do now that I ain't know I can. I worked last night. I got energy.
So with that being said, this is going to conclude this podcast. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Confessions with Nikki G. I do have a webpage. It's Nikki, Nikkie. Don't forget the E in Nikki. It's nikkig.org. You can simply leave me a message, or maybe you would like to come on the podcast. Shoot me a message. Let me know. We can talk about it. Maybe you have a story that can encourage, motivate. I like stories that get, individuals to moving. So I would like to thank Brenda for coming out today, sharing her entanglements. I like to say entanglements.
Yes, ma'am. That's what it was.
All right. So with that being said, we'll talk again next week.